Now, this session we took a bit of the subject of what is good, what is bad, right? And then we continue next week, another portion of good and bad next week. Okay, can you, Akil or Chris, give me one explanation, what is good, what is bad?
The only thing I can think is something good is something that will have a positive consequence later. Something bad will have a negative consequence later. For example, it could be something like driving the car in a dangerous way is bad because the consequence will be, you're going to suffer from that. My belief as well is being Muslim, we have our Quran, we have our teachings as well from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the things that he taught through God as well, telling us this is good and this is bad, to differentiate for us, because a lot of the time as humans we don't know. We're sometimes bad judges of what's good and what's bad. So God has also told us some things to stay away from and some things to do, and these things will take you to heaven or to hell. So that's sort of my view.
By your definition, being a prophet is the worst thing in the world. Like Jesus went to teach, right? That was a very bad thing to do because he'd been crucified. Yeah. Muhammad started something, it was all suffering for him. He was in the places for 3 years and then anyway, the whole life was bad for him. Okay, then remember, don't become a prophet then. It's not a good thing, right? Okay, your definition is just discarded right now then, with the example of prophet. Okay, what else? Chris?
So I have the advantage of going second based on what you just explained. But I was thinking along the lines of good and bad is relative. So relativity applies to it. Something that could be good for one person could be bad for another. So yeah, in a broader picture, I don't think it matters. It's somewhere in between. So yeah, I would just say it's relative. If you give me the
okay,
I would.
That's acceptable, but still it's not definition. Another nice point that Akil made was selfishness. He said, whatever I'm doing had a good result for me, it's good. Isn't it a definition of the selfishness? Yeah. Okay. That's still a good definition, but it still has a type of selfishness inside. That's the reason that like prophets or imams or these guys, they are not, the consequence is not good for them, but they still do it, right? Because they don't have the selfishness. But, okay, let's go an example of stealing. Okay, is it stealing bad or good? It's bad. Okay, you agree with stealing is bad. Okay. Now, Akil, you have a father which has like 5 kids, and you are one of the kids. Your mother is crying because it doesn't have anything to give to feed the child. And the mother is screaming on the fathers that you are poor something, right? I don't tell the words, but start fighting with the dad, right? Because the dad cannot provide the food. Now, the dad is like frustrated. 5 kids there, and Akil is hungry and yelling. And then he said, okay, what should I do? The 5 kids are like dying here. And then he goes, steal something from somewhere. And he come back to home. Now tell me, is your father good or bad based on this action?
No, of course, in that situation, I can't say he's bad.
Okay. Then stealing could be good, could be bad, right? It's very simple. Anything in the world could be good, could be bad. We don't have such a word of good or bad first, because it depends who is watching, who is observing, who is the observer, right? Another example, simple example. I'm teaching you here, guys, right? I'm teaching you guys here, and I'm spending time with you. Is it good? You said, yeah, it's good. Okay.
Well, to use your example, it could be bad because maybe I don't like you and I'm bored here and what am I getting from this? And I'm like, well, I'm not coming back next week. This is bad.
Now, let's even we think that you're enjoying the class, right? But because if you're not enjoying, you're not coming back then next week. That's even if you're enjoying and say, okay, that's a good. Reza is a good person because he's spending time for us and teaching me. But my mother, what my mother thinks right now, saying he doesn't care for his mother. He's just talking to people all the times, right? She might not be happy then. Two different angles can be the same thing. Could be good, could be not good, could be bad, right? Even the same thing. When I started teaching, the first thing was when I was going in Iran, I was going to the retreat. From airport, I didn't have much time, like 2-3 weeks I was going to Iran, and lots of students waiting for like teachings, classes, retreats and meditation. Like there were too many people, and then I said, okay, I'm coming from airport, I'll go there. I was tired, and I went there. What do you think? And then I was there for a few days, like 7-8 days retreat. And then soon the time was off and I came back. What do you think my cousin, my aunt, my uncle said? They were not happy, right? Okay. First of all, whatever you do, it might be from some angles good, might be from some angles bad, right? Okay. Which angle do you want to see your own work, your own deed? When you do something, right, from one angle might be good, and that would be relatively different, right? Like you do something good for your wife, and then your mind telling you, why you woke up in the middle of the night and bring like water to give it to your wife? You couldn't sleep. It's not good for you, Akil, right? He said, no, it's good for my wife. Even yourself, you can see it from the angle inside or from the angle outside. You could see your wife, and then you said, okay, I'm seeing my wife, I've done a good thing. Then I say, no, I'm seeing in myself, it's a selfishness. No, it was a bad thing to do. Even something simple can be good or can be bad, right? Okay. Now, with this definition, can you tell me something bad? Someone goes to war. Is it good or is it bad? It's much complicated now.
I think the bad would be that if it was to be bad for everybody, all perspectives, it's bad for everyone. But at the back of my mind, I think, well, in a broader picture, that still could be flipped. That because of that bad event, a good event could come out of that still in the future. So, short answer, I still can't do it. I don't think I can come up with a bad in the bigger picture.
Okay, let me make it more complicated then. A bad for everyone. Pee in the pants. Pee in the pants. Is it good or is it bad? It's bad for everyone. Right? Isn't it? Do you accept it's bad? What if someone is 2 years old? Then he said, no, it's not bad, it's okay. Even that would be different. Then you say, okay, what's the age? That would be depend on your age, right? Your growth. Or now, we are all like 40, 30, 50 years old. But here, spirituality or soul might be different age. Some people would be happy with a glass of, I don't know, water or even wine. Some people said, no, I'm not being happy with even buying house. My soul is thinking bigger than house even, not even glass of water or wine or something, right? It would be a rating, an age for soul, right? That would be another parameter to define something is good or something is bad. I'm thinking something wrathful, right? Or something angry or a bad thought. Is it good or is it bad? You might say, because you said that's harming everyone. I'm saying, okay, it's not harming everyone. I'm just thinking of like killing someone or harming someone. It's not bad. I haven't done anything. You say, okay, if you're 7 years old boy and someone is stealing like your pen or something, you're getting angry, you're having this thought, that's normal. It's fine. If you are spirituality not gross enough and a normal man and someone is stealing something from your house and you're getting angry and you want to kill him, that's fine, you're thinking, that's fine, it's not bad. But if you are a Sufi and spirituality you're awakened, having this thought would be very bad, right? You say, okay, why actually think something angry? Why? Right? Then that would be different. Now, let's here give a pause to the previous subject, and I go to something new, interesting, and a bit fun, right? How can we measure ourselves, our soul, or like, are we a prophet now in that level, or are we in the like Satan level, right? How can we measure ourselves? I would say something. It's not really exact, but it gives a definition of who is in which level, right? Okay. And then something to start that, I want to start with, is it sun good or bad? I can say I don't know anymore.
Yeah, because the sun is good in some circumstances, and in other ones it can give people skin cancer, and it's bad.
Exactly. A plant is happy to see sun, not always. Say, I'm thirsty. What are you doing there? Can you go a bit there? I don't want to see you now. I need a bit water. Then even sun sometimes is good, sometimes it's not good. Then I would say, is it spirituality, light is good for everyone? Not necessarily. If someone is thirsty for the light, it's good to give him the light. If someone is thirsty for the water, and then you give him the sun or light, then he die. Right? Then the complexity of everything gets much complicated. You gave me an example last week. You seen a person in the train. It was in the train, right? Yeah. Okay. Now I'll explain in this calculating your age, your spirituality age, you would know that how much is different. Okay. We call it, this is just more concept or symbolism. It's not really, the word I'm using, it's not really correct or it's not literal. Okay, think about light. I would say that whatever is more shiny light, it's more spirituality, more growth, right? It has been like longer age or more wisdom. Now we're talking about the spirituality light, but I want to give a light in the physical world as an example. And then you translate it spirituality as your spirit or as your soul, as your consciousness, everything else, right? But let's see here in Earth. If I tell you that in our Earth or solar system actually, the best thing is sun, because it has the biggest light. That would be in the top of the light. We're talking about the light, right? The top of light, I'm writing down here. I'm writing here sun. Oops, this one is. Sun is the light, the pure light. And I'm writing here cockroach. It's very hard to write. C. Okay. A cockroach. A cockroach is scared from sun. Right? It doesn't have any light. It's down there on the earth, in the earth, somewhere, hidden from the light. Right? Okay. I'm not insulting to the cockroach. Hopefully he's not getting mad. That's just an example, dear cockroach. But, okay, let's say this cockroach is far from light and the sun is light. Now, sun is only giving light. He doesn't ask us anything, right? Just the giver. You happy with that? Okay? Saying, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It doesn't differentiate. It just always shine, always light. That would be in our solar system the best, like giver, non-stopper, right? Or permanent giver. That would be better. Non-conditional. Yeah, that's the right word. Is actually non-conditional giver. I would NC. Now, what is the next object in the universe which has the next step has light? Less than sun, moon.
But that takes the sun's light and then reflects it.
Yeah, exactly. That's at least get a bit light from the sun, and when we are in the darkness, give us a bit light. That's not bad, right? He gets it from somewhere else, but he gives away everything. Whatever it gets, he gives it to us. But it doesn't shine itself. Yeah, that's fine. It's still a fair, big, nice object. All right? Okay. What is the next star now? It's not in the sky anymore. It's on the earth. Is it fair if I'm saying plants? Plants get the light from moon and sun. It doesn't want anything from us, right? It just use a bit dirt on the earth, and he give us fruit. fruit, vegetables, whatever. It's still a giver. But the light is not directly, but it grows with light. Right? A bit of the dirt on the earth. And then it's now still a giver. Not in the sun level, still it's a giver. Right? Okay. Now let's go to the next one. Animal. Not wild animal. What should I call it? Domestic. I mean, the animal doesn't eat other animal, right? Okay. The domestic animal, they live out of the plants, and then we kill them, we eat them. Still, it's serving us like sheep, right?
Or they give milk.
Yeah, or give milk. Yeah, sheep, cows. They are using less or even more light, less harmful, right? And then it serves humanity. Right? Okay. Let's go now with the wild animal. The animal which eats other animal, like wolves, for example. Here, let's put sheep and wolves. Now, wolves eat the animal. Okay, how much light a wolf has? Wolf get the light a bit from the sun directly, everything in earth, but mostly it gets from the animal, and then the domestic animal get from the plant gets from the sun. Now, the amount of light which wolf is consumed, it's much less than a plant. Right? Light is just going down and down and down. Less light in this. Now, I don't know exactly what is the next level, but let's go down, down, down to the cockroach. He doesn't want even light. He's scared from the light. If you give him the light, even like with a torch or something, they would see a darkness comes here. We were like relaxing in our light in toilet. Now just somebody came and turned the light on, and that would be like an enemy for them, right? Okay. Now this one is very simple, but it would be very interesting in the next few sessions. It would be something substantial in our teachings. Now, everyone serving like different layer. Now, humanity is somewhere, let's call, I can put humanity here or here or here, but I want to use the example of the whole this for humanity. Now, I would say I am a human. I could be a cockroach in the light level. I could be a sun. Let's test that one. Let's examine that. Are we a cockroach or are we a sun? Right? Okay. The sun is always thinking of everyone else. He doesn't think about himself. Right? That's the reason he's shining. The shine comes when I think and I serve everyone else. No conditional, no pride, no anger, no change in my tone, no I'm getting frustrated, nothing. I just, like I'm a teacher, for example, I always teach. And someone get angry, talking to me angry, I'm saying, still I'm teaching. I can teach or I'm teaching, right? Someone doesn't listen or he doesn't want any problem. If I get angry, I say, okay, I'm not teaching anymore. And you're fired, Bakil. You have to leave. And I'm getting angry, right? Then I'm just going a bit down, right? The sun is always from inside. Shines and it doesn't stop. It doesn't differentiate. It doesn't do any like conditional love, conditional light, right? It just always shines. Now the earth can go closer, get more, can go a bit far from the sun, get less. It's the earth want to be close to sun or not, or we want to be in the sun or not, right? We can adjust ourselves with the sun. Sun doesn't move in the solar system, right? Now, that's a best level. I would say like in humanity is like a prophets, right? They don't think anything about themselves. Their soul is in a level, like Jesus, for example, or Prophet Muhammad. Like Jesus thinks, okay, they might crucify me, but it doesn't matter. I'm not important here. I'm just here to teach the divine teaching. I don't care what happened to me, right? That would be like a highest spirituality, right? Someone doesn't think anything about himself and always think about others. And the others means everyone. Others, remember that, right? Others means always everyone for the sun level. In the moon level, for example, Jawad is coming here. Let's imagine that if in this school, I'm the sun and I'm always teaching, like, and then Jawad learns from me and teach Akil. That would be moon, right? Sometimes he might not like to teach. It's vanning or waxing moon. Sometimes he is free. He spends his time. He help people, right? The amount of the helping he has for everyone else could be less or more. The teaching, he gets it from somewhere else. He would get it from his teacher, for example. That would call moon. But he's still thinking of everyone. He still is unconditional. He still is going every day. But, for example, I might teach 24 hours a day if I'm a son. Jawad might teach 5 hours a day, right? And Jawad teach my teaching. That would be the like sun and moon as an example. Then we go plants, right? A good student of thinking, okay, I should absorb this light, this knowledge, or this holy word, or whatever spirituality, whatever is good for our growth, and then I would help. Eventually, I've been eaten by my like wife or mother or whatever. It means that I am teaching. I'm learning the teaching here, right? Then, when I'm a plant, I have a bit light in me now. I'm sitting in the train station. I might be a selfish person and say, why this guy is doing that, or this girl doing that? Or I might not be selfish. Now I'm a plant, right? I'm a wild animal. I've been wild animal. Now I learned. Now I became a plant. A plant says, okay, he's enjoying. She's enjoying. She's kid, right? She's enjoying. If you just leave the selfishness for a moment. I'm just giving the Akil's example, was in the group, right? When he forget himself for a moment and he could see that girl, how much he's like smiling, laughing, enjoying, then he said, wow, that's nice. That's a moment you lose your selfishness and you see something else in the world, right? That's come like a plant. A plant is a good student using the teaching. And then that using serves different people, right? Like that girl could be attacked by Akil in the train, but Akil not even didn't fight or didn't say anything, even smiled, said, oh, that's now girl is enjoying, right? Totally is changing. Now, if you attack to the girl, said, why you're just doing that? shut up and turn the things off. Here is the train, this is public. Is it fair if I'm saying that you're being wild animal then? You're attacking. Now, the attack is two types. One type is like a wolf. Wolf is not scared and really attack, right? And when they attack to the sheep, she kill as much as possible. She only need 1-2 kilogram of meat, but the wolf kills every sheep he can, and then take one piece, one sheep, and then goes, right? It's exactly like anger. You might get angry to the girl, and then you start yelling at the girl in the train. It's just you're affecting everyone else with the anger, with the darkness. Everyone get mad or sad or angry, right? That would be the wild animal. Not even, you're not losing selfishness and thinking about something else. You're even think yourself, right? The selfishness totally, and said, I want to sit here in the train quiet. And then you start, based on the selfishness, you start to be angry with the others, affecting others with the darkness, and also you've been angered, right? Or been angry, and that would create anger in someone. Now, instead of creating anger in you, right, a different level of anger, but even a bit of anger, now actually enjoy it, right? Why? Because he has been planned, right? He had a bit light. With that bit light, with one session of the teachings, when he could use it, instead of being angry to someone, then he became joyful. He became said, wow, that's nice, right? Now, this would be the hierarchy, cockroach to sun, which we are always, every moment, we could be in one of these steps. Sometimes we might be here, the cockroach. Sometimes we are wild animal. We just fighting and attacking people, and even attacking. I said there is two types. One is wolf, which has the courage to attack. One doesn't have the attack, right? I don't have an example of the animal, but sometimes we're angry. I'm angry at my boss at work. I cannot attack. I lose my job, right? What happens then? Then I attack to myself. The whole day I'm angry. Then the whole day in my mind I'm start thinking about him, and I'm killing him and bashing him, or I'm just doing things in my mind. That would be the attacking with no courage. Still I'm attacking. In me, it's attacking. That part is only affecting me double the time. And if I attack to my boss, that would be half me, half boss. Right? Okay. That would be a spirituality level, very simple. Now, that was fun. Now you can tell me what is good or what is bad. First is, what age am I? Am I a cockroach? Am I a wild animal? Like a wolf? That's fine. I can kill a few people and then just eat one. All right? No, am I a plant or want to be eaten? Someone angry talk to me, I can be silent or can be like nice. That would be the plant, right? The hierarchy of the spirituality is how much you give, how much you take. The portion of what we take, what we get, what we want to get, and what we want to give shows the spirituality level. Right? That would be the level of spirituality. I'll write it down. Give. No, I should say take to give, right? Take divided by give. That would be the percentage. Now, don't calculate that because you lose your hope on yourself. It's normal that we all are similar to wild animal, some maybe sometimes even cockroach. Okay, now, then when we're talking about the spirituality, the good and bad, the age of spirituality is considered. If Jesus or Muhammad, like they were thinking, should I steal something? I'm hungry. He said, wow, how can a prophet like this think about stealing? We always think of bad things. No one said anything. A kid even says that I'm going to kill someone. Said, okay, that's fine, that's normal, right? A bit younger, pee in the pants, that's fine, normal, that's okay. Okay, now, we see the age of the physical, we don't see the age of spirit, or the soul, or consciousness. Now, age of soul is coming by, we're going to the previous teaching, mechanicity, okay, or being conscious. Consciousness is the light. If Akil was not conscious in the train, he was like an autopilot mechanic, right? He was going to be mad or angry, right? Or at least didn't like the scene. Now, think about now good and bad. I'm teaching you, I'm spending time, few hours every week here, and almost every days of every week here with different people. Now, what my wife could think. It's simple. If he is a moon or sun, he would enjoy. He's saying, oh, my husband is helping everyone. All the time he's helping someone. I'm very happy, and I'm the moon next to him. I'm helping him to be able to help everyone else. If he's a wild animal, then what would happen? Upset, angry, and then he opened the door now. He said, is it enough to teaching everyone else? Come home, I'm alone. I'm hungry. Isn't it? Then, now, previous topic. Angle. What angle you see a phenomena? If something happens, what angle you see? The angle you see is depend on what level you are. It's affected much in you. Right? Okay. Now, I made it so complicated that from now you don't know what is good, what is bad, isn't it? That's really the truth. Let me give you an example, a real example. When I was very young, I think it was 2007, I got a sickness, right? The sickness was something similar to CFS, and CFS is chronic fatigue syndrome. Someone is tired all the time, and I've been tired in a level I couldn't go most of the days to work. I've been in bed all the time, and I don't forget that I was next to my laptop. I was watching movies. When a movie, like TV series in a day, the whole day I was just watching TV series. Right? That year, every TV series in the world, I've seen them. And even when it was finished, one episode, going to next episode, I was laying down on bed. In one side, laptop was like next to the bed. I was yelling my wife, can you play next? I was in this level, right, sick. And no doctor could help. And I went to the psychiatrist, psychologist, even brain surgeon, and every type of the medical. I was not even believed in any spirituality or spirit or meditation. I was not religion. I was not religious. I didn't have any belief, to be honest. I was just very simple. And then this happened to me. Is it bad? A couple of years, I was suffering in a very, very bad level. Very hardly I could go sometimes to work. And then I was just lay down. And all the time, my mind was killing me. I was really, really, if I had the courage, I was committing suicide. But I just didn't have energy to go to do it even. And I've used lots of tablets, pills, stuff. They said it's depression, but it wasn't. And it was CFS, then it wasn't. And anyway, it was not clear. And then I met someone, and he told me, now, this is very bad. If anything happens to us like this, we said, that's the worst thing can happen to anyone, right? Then one day someone told me, I went then next stage, I went to the energy healing, pranic healing, that kind of healing. It didn't work too. And then someone told me, have you meditate? I said, meditate? What is that? He said, you just sit somewhere and don't move. I said, I'm doing it for a few years. The problem is I'm just sitting or laying down all the time and I'm not moving. That is the sickness. What is the cure? And then he said, no, that's a bit different. You cannot lay down, you have to sit. I said, okay, what else? Think or not think. I said, okay, there is no other way to fix it. I don't see anything else. And I didn't have any hope. Even I lost my hope to God because I called him a few times to fix me, he didn't. Then I realized God is not there. If he was there, he was able to fix me. Or if he's there and he didn't fix me, then he's not able to do it. That's even, whatever I was thinking, it was logical. Either God was not there or he has not been able to fix me. All that, my mind was that. Then I lost the whole, even a bit of the belief if I had, I lost it. But that was very funny, so that because I wanted God to serve me, and he couldn't serve me or didn't serve me, I said God is not there or he's not been able to do it. That's very funny. Getting something result out of these circumstances, which is everyone does every time, right? They call God and God doesn't answer, then they said, okay, God is not there then. Anyway, that was fun part in my things. Then I started meditating. Then I said, okay, what should I do? And then the person taught me. He said, I'm new to meditation, but you have to think what you're thinking. And then observe and see what is wrong with you. And then I started this. That's changed my whole life. Then I realized why I was sick, why I couldn't move. Everything, for me, everything was not physical. And that was the reason no one could fix it. Everything for me was mental. And my mind was so complicated and so down, which I couldn't handle it. It's like you have a computer, the CPU does whatever he wants to do, and then you don't know what to do. You don't have a keyboard to talk to the CPU, and then you don't know what's happening in the computer. And then I said, okay, I'm going to fix that. Then I started, and 2 years later, I totally was changed. And 3 years later, I could have lots of experiences in my meditation, dreams, and then I fell in love in this path, which I forget even life. And then I said, what is the life? I'm just here to move, to try, to change, and now I love everyone, and I want them to change too, if anyone wants to change, actually. Right? That was my turning point. Now tell me again, was my sickness bad or good? That time, if you were telling me this is a gift from God, I said, the sickness? I was probably going to kill you. But now I'm saying that it was a gift. Because that made me in a level no one could help, even God, not even faith, nothing. Then I had to find out the cure. I had to help myself. I had to find out the cause. And then that was my university. Because from the worst possible state, I could come to the enlightened one or lighted one in some level and get totally changed, right? And then I was surprised, my wife, my friends, and they said, what's happening in you? I said, okay, come and listen. I'm just doing that. And then I'll find that. And every day, and that's the start of the class. Actually, I didn't have any intention of having class or school or anything like that. I just said, oh, do you have sickness? I have a cure. Or at least I cured this way. If you want to listen, just come and sit and I'll tell you. Then good and bad is too complicated. One is the time now. The time sometimes shows is it good or bad, right? In some times you said it's very bad. Another time, like you fight with your wife, for example, right? And then you're too angry. And then I'm telling you, is it good? I said, no, she shouldn't talk to me like that. And then I said, okay, just get calm. Just get, like, for example, very cool. Just work on your patience, on your kindness and everything else. And then you do it, you breathe, you just get calm, and then you go tell your wife even, I'm sorry, I shouldn't, even there was this fight, there was part of it, my fault, I'm sorry. And then the wife says, okay, I'm sorry too, and then you go back to normal life. Now, you could handle a fight to peace, right? Is it a good practice? Isn't it? Aren't you enjoying to change a fight or an anger or something like negative, resentment, to something peaceful, love? Don't you like to have this kind of practice? Parts of you, yeah, exactly. Now, even a fight, if you change your angle, if you say, okay, you change your angle, then you could enjoy it. Even you could enjoy the challenges you have in life. You said, okay, this challenge is making me from wild animal to at least domestic animal. Domestic animal doesn't eat anyone else at least. Maybe it doesn't help much, but at least it doesn't eat. At least I'm angry now. If I go talk to my wife or, I don't know, employee or employer or whatever, I'm going to sit in my room. That would be the sheep. I'm sitting in my room and I don't want to harm anyone. That would be at least from wild animal to this domestic animal, right? The plant is helping, but the domestic animal at least doesn't harm, sorry. Okay. Now I want to give you the final part, because I made it so complicated, which your mind doesn't know what is good now, what is bad. And if someone even now being angry with you, he said, oh, he's doing good thing. If you are in a good state. Now, if I want to remove all that and make it simple, right? I'm saying, someone asked me, is this glass, empty glass, almost empty now, is it good or is it bad? Right? The first and wise question is, what is your goal? He says, I want to throw it on Jawad's head. It's a very good glass then. It's heavy, very good, and you can do that. That's a good thing. That's a good tools for the goals you have. And then someone says, I want to have my lunch. No, that's not really good things. It's good for soup, but it's not good for lunch. All right? Or, first of all, anything good or bad, I would say, what is your goal? Right? Everything would be compared to the goal. If someone says, I want to use a drug, is it a good thing to use? I'm saying, no, drug is not good. That's not really wise thing to say. I'm saying, okay, what is your goal? Do you want to be healthy, or do you want to do suicide or kill yourself? You want to kill yourself? That drug is good. Use it. Use heroin, cocaine, or whatever you can. This one is make your life 6 months. You can do this one then. Whatever it is, I don't know the names. Right? Then everything could be good, considering the goal. Now, I made it too simple now. It's just, I cannot live with that. I have to make it more complicated. Now he's saying, okay, good. Okay, the goal, I know the goal now. That's very simple, right? You know the goal. Okay. And then I'm saying, no. Okay. Chris said that part of me wants that challenge, part of me doesn't want the challenge. Now, the goal is enjoy life, or the goal is spirituality grows, right? I want my soul to go to like a sun, prophet, or anything. Said, okay, part of me wants the sun, part of me wants enjoy life. I want both. And now then the problem comes with the internal parts. I'm saying, okay, enjoy life. Then he said, okay, I have to then go having sex with everyone. That's enjoying life. I said, okay, that would be the last full part of your life. That's if your goal is to have, you became gradually lost, for example, lost as a LUST, right? If you want to become lustful, yes. But if you want to become spirituality grows, he says, okay, can I do it at night, enjoy my life, at day, spirituality grows? I said, okay, half, but cannot sit together because they are opposite to each other, right? Sex and having lustful thoughts and lustful life, it's exactly in the opposite of the growth. Because lust is, I'm saying everyone to enjoy me. Spirituality is me to help everyone else, right? That would be different. Then the goal is make it clear. But sometimes in ourselves, there is different part of ourselves. Some part wants something, some other part wants something else. That would be the internal part, which we talk in 10-20 session later, right? The internal part. For now, forget the internal part, just it was the title for the future and to make you come back. For now, I'm saying, okay, the goal. Generally, we know the goal. However, I want to enjoy my, for example, enjoy life by eating as much as I can, or eating just my mind go out to the eating, like gluttony, for example. And at the same time, I want the spirituality grows. But I know I want the spirituality grows, and gluttony is an issue in me which I should fix, right? I know the general goal. Then, now, things I want you to this week as a practice. Think everything, anything you see, you like or you don't like it. Try to see from different angle, everything, right? Because the thinking about a subject is not the first thought. Usually I'm saying, okay, let me think what to do. Then the first thought arises, and I'm doing that. I thought, and that first thought was, I said, okay, no, wait here. How many other options you have? Someone like angry talking to me, and then I can insult, I can throw him out of the class, I can sit, I can laugh, I cannot answer, or I can be kind, or I can, right? Different options I have. First, I have to find out how many options we have. And then I can see each option. Like, for example, if someone is, and let me give you an example of first time I was working with anger a lot. I was very angry after the sickness I told you. It was just my mind was always angry. And it took like 7-8 years that I could kick out anger for a short time. I was teaching to some student. All the classes was free. Even I was spending lots of money to, like, for classes, I don't know, communications and stuff. And I was usually expected a bit appreciation at least, right? Or someone says thanks for you doing it. And then it was usually what's happening. Someone was like angry in the class. I was saying, why do you do that? Why is not there? And then he was angry, and I was become angry. And I was saying, my immediate response was, if you don't like it, go out. Just go choose whatever you like. That's a wise answer. Wisest I could say at the time, and not get angry, right? Saying, okay, go and do it. Or because I wanted to get rid of the person who was angry, right? I'm saying that you don't like this. Okay, why are you sitting here then? Leave. That's an immediate response, and that's usually we do, or we run away, or we kick him away. In one of my classes, something, I knew a person, was one of my relatives, and he was like 19 years old boy. His father was my student, and he was sitting always in that classes. And a few days before, we went to a trip to one of the city in Iran, like a dervishes, temples and stuff. We've seen some stuff there. And then in the class, like lots of people sitting in the class, it was the main class, he stand up, he said, you are lying. Whatever you're saying, it's all made up and it's all lie. If you're right and you believe you are right and you're telling the truth, show me your miracle. You just been confused. If my anger was there, and everyone else gets angry, at that time, everyone said, sit, respect the teacher at least. Or if you don't want to listen, just go out. It was in everyone's mind. But my mind, at the teaching time, for the first time, there was no anger, right? And the wisdom was there. And something, it was really a miracle for me. It was not for him, but it was for me. I've seen him, wow, that boy. I just didn't, anything which he said, it was all bad. My mind was telling me at the same time of what I would like to tell him. I didn't say I'm a prophet. Only prophet has the miracle. And even the last prophet didn't have miracle. The miracle was his teaching. But he didn't do like anything specific. He was teaching. But that was very immediate response. But at that moment, nothing from his speech or talks, it didn't hit me. I just sit there and I watched him for like at least 3, 4, 5 minutes. And then at the end, I said, wow, this guy is very angry. How should I help him to not be that angry? He's losing his faith on the teaching, which he was listening and he was doing. But now he's angry. If I tell him anything, he would get angry and he would leave. Then that's not a wise thing to do, right? I like the boy. I want him to progress. Now he is in his anger. He's lost in his anger. What should I do, right? You just sit there, and my heart was thinking only about this thing. That was the best joy I had the first time. I was just relaxed, and someone was insulting me in front of everyone else, and I was relaxed and I was enjoying. I said, okay, how should I say? And then I simply said, okay. I called the boy, said, dear student, yeah, I think you're right. I really don't know what I'm telling is good or not. There is no guarantee for what I'm saying is right. It's what I know, but I can help you, all right? A few days ago, we went to that dervishes like temple. I can introduce you to them. You go there to the classes, continue. He still was angry, but a bit less. He said, no, they didn't know even anything. The teaching you're teaching, at least there is like ego and this and that. They were just praying. And then I said, yeah, you're right. Do you know any other teacher or anyone which knows a bit more than me or better than this class? He said, no, the mosque is like that and that is like that. There is nothing, here. That's the problem. I said, oh, okay, then you're saying that you don't know anyone better than me, but you're not sure that if I'm correct or not, 100%. But is it true if I say, then I'm the best person you know at least? He just kind of like get conflict and he said, yeah, true. I said, oh, really, thank you. I really thank you that, out of this big world and you people you know, I'm at least the one you trusted. Hopefully you can find someone better than me in your life. But I'm really thank you for trusting me and coming to my classes then. And he just didn't say anything. He continued and he was done. And then I said, wow, I saved the boy. Right? It was just something very simple. Only instead of the anger, it was the wisdom. And the responses I had, anyway, when the class was finished, 2 hours later, I was back in my mind saying, you had to kick him out. I said, shut up. And then he said, no, you have to tell him the miracle is not even for prophet. Even most of prophet, they didn't have the miracle. I said, shut up. I had my challenges after the class, but that class was really saved that boy. And that was the first time I experienced when I'm not me, I can be everyone else. I can feel everyone else. I can help everyone else. But I have to just kind of remove lose my selfishness, right? Or anger, selfishness, and a few other undesired egos in me. Then the wisdom and the anger. It doesn't work together. Now we are talking about the spirituality. Spirituality, it doesn't work with the anger, with the selfishness, with the lust, and with some stuff. I cannot have them at the same time together, right? That was one part, and I think that's enough for today, good and bad, right? We continue next week, relativity of good and bad. But remember that, in summary, time, spirituality, age, and what was the third one? There was third factor in calculating. I forget the first one. They are really the angle. The angle is kind of a spirituality age. Yeah. But the angle sometimes is like when I'm my wife, then I'm not happy of what I'm doing right now. But if I'm with my father, maybe I'm happy. Or if I'm a student, I'm happy. But if I'm a teacher, I'm not happy. That's the condition of that's more angle, right? That's the three factor we have in good and bad, right? And then we came to the conclusion that the good and bad is really relative to goal. Sometimes I say, if you want to, I remember that when I was young, I was smoking cigarettes, and I really enjoyed smoking cigarette. I like to be smoker. At the same time, I like to be healthy too. And I like both of them. So, can I smoke and be healthy? That was always my question. Didn't work out. I had one should kill the other one. I had to quit smoking to be healthy. And now, that's the internal part, right? We talk in future more internal parts. Yeah, why this part of my mind or my soul wants this, and this part wants something else. Like, for example, we have laziness. We want to work, but at the same time we are lazy. What part of this in my mind is, or my mind, my body, my soul, everything? That would be the internal part. This session was more about the philosophy of good and bad. Now, if this philosophy, thinking about the philosophy or learning this philosophy, it takes you up into this hierarchy, right? Because if you're wild animal to down, you're always thinking of yourself. That's very clear. Whatever is enjoying in life, you should enjoy. Life is for you. The whole earth is for you. Do whatever you want. That's the thinking. However, that doesn't happen. That's just the thinking. And then anyone thinks that the whole world is for them and serving them, and then they start suffering. When we talk about the suffering later. All right? Okay. Change of mind or comprehension is called. Right? This lesson called comprehension of good and bad. I want you to try comprehend good and bad and see everything from different angles. And the Akil's example that week in the train was very simple one, right? Okay, this week you have enough homework? Okay, Zohal has a question, I guess, or he wants to talk.
Hello, everyone. It was a
Hello.
really great. Enjoyed it. One of the points that you pointed out was to focus on the three factors. Can you repeat those, please? I think one of them was the anger part, the unconditional love. Well, I missed those parts.
See, the angle is, I'm saying that if Jawad spent time for bees, right, the bees in the here, and the bees are happy, you're not happy. You might not be happy, right? Because he's doing something toward them. And then Jawad comes home and spend time with you, the bees are not happy then. It's which angle you are, who you are, right? And the condition of the place that you are. That was one. The second one was, we said that a child, if pee in the pants, that would be okay. If a grown man does, it's not okay. Then that would be the spirituality level at the same time. And the third one was the time. Sometimes I'm saying this is bad, but 3 years later I'm saying no, it's very good. Right? That's the main three factor I introduced this session on the top of good and bad. Right? The first one was like a thief is stealing something, and it's good for Akil, his child, and it was bad for the person losing the money. Right? That was the relative first one, and then spirituality grows and the time. Three things.
All right, no worries. Thank you so much.
Okay, pleasure.
Yeah, so I was just gonna what you pointed out about the anger, frustration that can accumulate on the conditional of what our perception towards it. I can probably give you one example that I've been coming to for the past 3.5 years or so. One thing for sure, that what made me, because I do have a lot of anger within me, like a lot, and I work on it constantly to be vigilant and to, the selfishness within me, it triggers the anger in a very dramatic manner. Sometimes, majority of the time, I'm able to control it, thank God for that. But sometimes it's still, it's a really huge defect within me that I see, I'm conscious about it, but yet I choose to go that way because the needs are not met to what I was expecting. One thing for sure, that one time there's two big examples in my life I can actually come across. One is my husband, two is yourself, and three examples, and three, Rohama, your wife. When I observe you guys, in the sense that when people come and talk to you guys, or for instance, as an example for yourself, I saw someone talking to you in a very bad and very agitated manner, including myself, because I actually have spoken to you in that manner in the past. However, what the highlight of that for me was, that I learned from that was that you kept it, you smiled, and then you were like, your response was, whatever you said was, that doesn't matter what the response, I don't even remember what you said, but what I remember and what I learned from that is how to respond to the, the action of others. Hence you smiled, you just laughed it off. And I was like, deep within me, I was a furious, ferocious wolf trying to attack this innocent lamb. In you and I situation, we have been through it sometimes. And then I went home, meditated. Honestly, like the amount of light that came through from that smile, from the smile that you gave, that was it. That was a huge lesson that I learned, that you don't have to attack it. You don't have to, how should I say? You don't have to be angry, or you don't have to be frustrated of things. Things like that can actually improve with time. And what I learned from you at that point was, the biggest point for me was the smile. And that was the biggest lesson for me. And now when I do get angry, I actually fake it. I fake that smile, and that's not good, because deep down inside me, I'm still angry. So what I'm trying to do is to be happy and not be angry at inside and out, because I'm trying to show off that, oh no, I'm all good, I'm hunky-dory, there's nothing wrong with me. But deep within me, there's a huge ball of fire still raving, it's still burning within me. And I find that sometimes, and I'm conscious about it, and each time, it's amazing, each time when I think about it, I think about the smile that you gave me a couple of sessions when I was actually speaking to you in a more irritated manner. So that was it's a huge tick for me. So I'll actually thank you for that.
Actually, a Sufi is a miracle in the Sufi is to changing anything with the lower vibration to higher vibration. Every Sufi should have this miracle. The miracle is changing like anger to being calm and relaxed, and someone comes and attack you, you make them happy, right? That's the miracle in every Sufi. That should be in every Sufi, and hopefully in the future in you all guys. Okay. Thank you. See you guys next week.